Welcome back to another installment of Rip Returns, a series where I return to the games I couldn't beat as a kid and try to beat them now that I'm a fancy grown adult. Well, maybe not so fancy. Anywho, this isn't a completely lawless procedure as I try to recapture a little bit of the glory I couldn't obtain in my childhood. There are some basic laws, and today especially, we need to go over them, so here they are. Rule 1 is my guiding principle to know my limits. Any skills that I may have had in Mario, especially Mario 1, which controls so differently than the later games, are long since gone. And because of that, I am coming at it from a lesser point than I was back then. So I need to accept that and proceed accordingly. That plays into Rule 2, which is a very important rule today. Rule 2 is to earn my warps. Originally, when I would play as a kid, I would try to get to the warp as fast as possible and get as far ahead as I can, thinking that if I just got far enough ahead in the game, I could just will myself to the end. Turned out that wasn't the case. But warps do have a value. If you can get to a point where you are regularly beating certain areas of the game, certain worlds, then it can behoove you to use a warp just to speed up the process a little bit. You get to a point where you have to assess, am I going to gain enough lives by going through worlds I know I can beat to justify continuing to go through them, or will I, seep out a life or two on the way, making the whole thing kind of a foolish endeavor? Well, considering my quality of play, that is something I have to debate, and today, I make a decision. Not every decision is a happy one, though, and that's what Rule 3 is for. Rule 3, let it happen, is just that. Sometimes I'm going to have successes, most of the time I'm going to have failures. Because of that, I need to let those failures occur and treat them accordingly. I can't just reset when I get frustrated, that doesn't help me. Nor can I just yeet myself into a cavern over and over again, taking what some people would call strategic deaths, because that doesn't help me grow. I need to do the things that help me grow. And if I do them successfully, I may advance. So let's slap this bad boy into fast motion and try advancing and learning in Episode 7, World 7 Heaven. Coming up to a crucial moment, and the decision is ready to be made. Do I need to let it happen, or can I earn a warp? Have I earned a warp? I believe I have. Off we go to World 3. Why World 3? Simple, my friends. I'm going to have to keep trying that stupid turtle twist. Embarrassing as that little gaffe is, you have to admire 3-1 in that it's really one of the most forgiving levels in the early game, because it gives you a chance to get your full power-up back. I mean, there's power-ups hidden about, obviously, but this is what looks like a fairly challenging level. It's got Hammer Brothers, it's longer than World 1 or World 2 levels. Little top of the old home button there. But this level gives you a chance to get back the power-ups that you fritter away. And for a level that really steps up the challenge, it really is kind of a nice thing for them to do. Something they did not do in Lost Levels. And I blew the 1-up trick. No surprise there, I suppose. You'll notice that today's death count starts in the very high 90s. Will we reach an important milestone today? I'm not telling, but the answer rhymes with yes. Yes, we will. So that's one death through World 3, a very good showing in my opinion, and that one death was pretty avoidable. Going to try something a little new here and zip through that extra long inter-world, I don't know, is that a cutscene by NES standards? It's not even a cutscene by Ninja Gaiden standards, really, but whatever. Moving into World 4, and the traditional knowledge, as I've expressed at this point, is just friggin' hoof it. That was a very good World 4, pretty much completely on point with everything that I wanted to accomplish. And I mean, Deathless, you can't do better than that. Going into World 5, obviously there's still things to sort out. I don't think I ever get this particular one up regularly, which is a very frustrating thing. But I think what we're seeing here overall is real evidence of growth, in that it's not that World 4 is, at all difficult, so I can't claim that I'm developing a mastery, but I am showing a combination of pattern recognition, which was one of my greatest foes playing these games as a kid, and just acquired skill set, and you can't complain about that. 5-4 time and we're deathless, but we're not going to stay that way because you know 5-4 means the giant bar. Here I just try running past it, which is an idea, not a great one as you can see, but that's not the reason it's not a great idea. That's just, you know, it's not a hard power-up to get once you get the concept of how to get it. And frankly, the game already taught you the concept of how to get that one up. Well, that was pathetic. But for some reason, just the length of the fire bar is enough to keep me from understanding the concept. All I need to do is hop up, wait for the bar to pass, hop down, get the power up, hop back up while I'm getting the power up, wait for the bar to pass again, you know, hop over when the bar comes past, and then, you know, I guess Robert's your uncle, and off you would go, but I just am not performing that trick. Meanwhile, I've got that part, which arguably should be much harder, down pat. A good set of lives coming into a Lakitu level that is both more challenging in that you can't just run straight through it, but also a little more forgiving, or rather, one that gives you the option to be much more offensive about how you approach Lakitu. In this level, just about all of the high points, because the level is assorted high points and low points, but just about all of the high points give you an option to take Lakitu out and gain yourself a precious few minutes of peace. Like right there, you can easily jump on top of him. I jumped past the one up there instead, which I don't think I was going to get anyway. I never am very consistent about getting those coins in the level 3s. But here, we're coming up on another spot right here. See, with a full-size leap, you can totally jump up and get him. And I just don't nail that. That's something very... Oh, let's take a minute. Everybody take a minute and recognize the special moment. Clap, 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 clap. That's 100 deaths. Yay. Anyway, something very frustrating that I have noticed, especially in this level and in this run, is that you don't kill enemies by hitting them from underneath. Even in Mario Brothers, you knocked the Koopas. I don't even know if they were called Koopas then. They may have just been called Turtles. But in the old one-screen puzzle Mario game, you knock them out, like drive them back into their shell, by hitting them from underneath, I believe. So you can't even do that in this one, which is a weird step back, I would say. And you know, honestly, a lot of the things about that game, I mean, there's almost nothing to like about a one-screen Mario game, let's be honest. The point, though, is that even in that game, there are interesting things. Like, I mean, there's POW blocks for crying out loud. And POW blocks have gone to a bunch of fun places, from knocking down coins to knocking down blocks, even becoming a power-up. So, even in that game, I mean, something interesting came from it for the wider series. That's why I reject the people who are too quick to dismiss Super Mario 2 as Doki Doki Panic, because while it's true that it was a alteration of a different game for the American market, it's also true that Mario got all kinds of enduring things from that game, including half of its frickin' bestiary. So even in the least glorious of Mario games, there's still interesting stuff to be had. 6-3 with 3 lives left. We're getting to be on the verge of something, but this is not a fun level. I mean, this is not at all a fun level. I just hate the trampolines, or springs, or whatever you want to call them in this. I don't get them. That's part of the problem with jumping in this game as opposed to the later games. When you get to Mario 3 on, and you can jump off of things and get spring out of them, it really just changes the way jumping works in Mario overall. It makes it a, I don't want to say necessarily lower risk proposition, but it makes it something that you want to manipulate. You know, you want to play more with your jumps because you know you can get so much more out of them. And this game, not having that, and obviously having some wonky floppies, really hinders your abilities. I mean, they play with physics in a bunch of the Mario games, even though they're fairly consistent these days, especially early on. They play with them a lot, and in this one, things like not being able to get that secondary bounce, feeling a lot less in control of your jumps. The physics are not as applicable to the later games as, say, 3 will be to World. And honestly, that's something we're going to have to talk about when we get to Mario 2, because the applicability of learned skills between Mario 2 and any other Mario game is a very valid topic. And, I mean, we'll discuss that here in a few episodes, I suppose, after we burn to death. But it's worth bringing up. Alright, let's look at this exchange in depth. On the box, that's where I want to be. Get back on the box. That's where, see, that was where I wanted to be. I wanted to be on top of the box. That's the same situation we face in World 5. The only thing is, you have to get up on the box, hop over the bar, the extra long bar as it comes past, and then go down to get the power-up, hopping onto the box to pick up the power-up. Ooh, very nice dodge there. But again, we're seeing reinforcement of a skill that I need to learn. You got to get up on that box and dodge the bar from there. You've got to use the verticality, I guess you would say. But here we are, on to World 7, and it is big bullet party time. And this is going to be something that very much vexes me for a few playthroughs, because, man, they don't quit. Those ground floor bullet bills are absolutely brutal, and as you can see, they've brought my run to an end. So we'll talk about it more next time on Episode 8 of Rip Returns.